Hello, everybody. Hello, my lovely jammers, gorgeous people. I do apologise. I'm very naughty. I've been off all week. I have still been unwell with this chest infection, so I went back to the doctor and I got myself some more antibiotics. So, fingers crossed, these lot work and I won't be coughing anymore, which will be great. But thank you all for joining us this evening. We have the wonderful Lady Letitia here. Hello, Lady Letitia, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me, Victoria.
No
I'm
worries
so
at all.
lucky.
How's things been? Okay.
It's been great. Thanks for asking. Besides the big scare with Donald Trump,
Wow, I know, right?
yeah, it's been some serious stuff going on over here. That's for
You can't,
sure.
you kind of feel like this, I know with the JFK assassination, there's been a
Yeah,
couple of attempts with two or three, well, how many presidents now have been attempted assassination, and one actually went ahead and happened, but
yeah.
it's like a history keeps repeating itself.
Hmm.
Um, so it's interesting, that there's such a high emotional charge at the moment in America when it comes to Biden and Trump, and it's kind of this diverse. They're like polar opposite when it comes to
Very.
their politics, isn't it? I mean, what do you feel about the whole situation, Lady Letitia? You're obviously living amongst it all. I'm not there, so I don't really know the vibe in America at the moment. What is happening?
It is a lot of confusion, that's for sure. It's a lot of blaming going on as well. It's they're trying to figure out, the motive and why would this person do that? And come to find out, he was a registered Republican. So he obviously he was upset with Donald Trump to the point where he lost it and decided to get on a roof and shoot him. So basically, over here in the United States, what's going on is that our former president Donald Trump was he almost lost his life. It was an assassination attempt on his life, and instead of it piercing, instead of going in his head, because the bullet grazed his ear, like, and someone actually ended up dying on the scene, and someone was critically hurt. And then the gunman also died as well, due to the Secret Services, of
They
course.
shot him down dead straight away. They don't mess around, do they?
They,
If you're
they didn't seem like they wanted to ask any questions, that's for sure. So,
it's a different kind of procedure out in America. They don't really think about that. They just want to make sure that person's safe. I think so. They won't they'll
yes,
deal with the consequences after, don't they? But it's almost like anyone with a firearm or that shoots
yes,
first will get shot at straight away. Apparently, they say that Donald Trump, if it had gone anywhere closer, he would have been dead before he'd hit the ground.
yep.
So he's so lucky.
He's so lucky. Like,
He
I was
survived.
so like, when you feel a certain kind of way, Victoria, when you be like just thanking God for his grace and mercy and his angels standing there, not hitting you with, you're just grateful that you're alive because like it's still so shocking over here, and the political side of it is getting really ugly. It has gotten really ugly.
Yeah,
Game is going on, and it doesn't help. The division doesn't help. It doesn't help that you got one side saying that it was their fault, then the other side, really trying to figure out what happened. I do see. I can't imagine Joe Biden wanting, Donald Trump killed, and it's almost sounding like that, the rhetoric that's going on. And even with Barack Obama, he came out and made a speech and said, this is not tolerated. And, it pretty much isn't. I don't care what side of the spectrum that you're on. I don't care if you don't hate Joe Biden or you hate Obama or you are in love with Trump or vice versa. It still is, it's very disturbing for someone to try to kill someone, and to try to kill the former president is unacceptable on every level.
It is very polarized out there at the moment, and emotions are running really high. But I think Biden's really dealt with it quite well. I mean, he has completely renounced the whole. At the end of the day, any politician's life in danger, that it isn't fair.
Right,
And that's happened. A few things, not nothing like that here, but so you can draw parallels to things like Nigel Farage having um, he had something thrown over him that could have been any liquid. It could have been
right,
acid. It's when you're kind of viciously attacking a politician or anyone, then it makes that job unsafe for them. And then I
yes,
don't know who's going to actually want to be a politician
exactly.
if there's an attempted assassination, on someone. It's scary stuff. But I mean, I know Biden. He wants to. He's trying to restrict the gun laws
Yes,
out there. He's trying to make them kind of a bit safer because of the mass shootings, and yet there's been a lot in schools, and sort of guns aren't as regulated. I mean, here we don't. Gun crime isn't prolific. We've got more of an issue with knife crime in this country. It's not commonplace to have shootouts, and here it's not like that. We don't have a right to bear arms here.
wow,
Thank God, because
right,
I think, if anyone can have a license for a gun, you have to be of sane of mind, I think,
yes,
to be able to own one, and maybe have a some sort of psychology assessment or psychiatric assessment before you go ahead and purchase one, because you get these lone wolves out there that will go ahead and shoot anyone because they feel like it one day.
exactly.
And we've seen that in America where they've gone into schools and killed innocent people just because they felt like it.
Yeah, innocent little kids that are trying to
Yeah.
get their education. These big bullies come in there with these guns and shoot our babies. It is unacceptable. And like you said, it would be nice, it would be great if we had more gun laws, especially with all the mental health issues that are going on right now.
I mean, what's where you live in Texas? Is there a gun problem where you are?
Oh yes, you can walk in the grocery store with a gun as long as you have a license to carry it. You can carry
Yeah.
it around during the day. Uh-oh, red alert.
The crash bang wallop. It's your daughter's coming in. I love it.
But yes, no, it's like I was telling my husband, I said it may be a good idea if I go and practice at a gun range and try to secure something within our own home. Like it's with all this going on in our society right now, it is a bit scary for some homeowners not to carry one.
This is like a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because the heightened emotions and you have got there's a drug epidemic. Also, there's a massive meth problem. I don't know if there's a meth problem in Texas
Oh,
or not. Is there? Um, and
oh yeah.
there's the opiate crisis as well, where they got addicted to what was it called again? Kotsi
Opioids. Yeah.
opioids. But what was the name of it that they said it was okay to have? It was slow releasing.
Oh.
Oxycontin.
Oh.
Oxycontin. That was a massive pharmaceutical nightmare because they said that it was
Wow.
a slow releasing opioid, but people ended up getting
Oh.
addicted to it.
Yes.
And then they said it was the safest one to use. And in fact, it was the most addictive one to
Yeah.
use. And then they stopped selling it, and then people turned to heroin because that is the only kind of, well, that is what it
Yes.
is, really. It's just a
The re-
glorified version of heroin, and it's very sad because you see people have completely lost their lives. That's it. That's right, Casabet. Oxycontin.
yes.
Sorry, and fentanyl. Yes, that's the one. And I know also we have an issue with heroin, I think, in Scotland still, I don't know how bad it is. I don't know what areas. Kazza will know because she's from Scotland. But we haven't got. I don't think we've got the meth problem that is prolific in America,
Yes, it's
um,
pretty
as
bad.
far as I know. But yeah, it's a crisis, and then you've got people that are addled with drugs, wielding guns, doing
Yes,
things. I mean, on meth, I
exactly.
think it makes you paranoid.
Very much so.
Um,
Going to the store, going to a movie, being in a crowd where it's just, one nationality. I don't care what nationality you are in, as you can see. It doesn't matter if you're all white or all black. Wherever you go, there's going to be some type of violence, it could be like at his rally. No one thought that he was, going to have that issue at the rally. But you're right about methamphetamines and the things that are here that are causing others to lose it, to do things that they normally wouldn't do. But it's so
yeah,
accessible. Things are so accessible. Methamphetamines are so accessible. It's not like you
you
can
can
go
make
in
it.
and get it.
You can make it yourself, can't you? I mean, if
Well,
you're qualified enough, you can make it yourself
yeah,
in a back of a hut or van. Um, Blue Nomad says there's a bad meth issue with this small part of the gay community in the UK. I had no idea, Blue Nomad. Maybe because I'm not part of the gay community, I have no idea what they're doing. But that's interesting. I think I've because I'm that bit older, I've missed that scene. Thank God, because I never would want to try that. It sounds horrific. Um, so yeah, it is shocking, and I do feel for you guys at the minute because I don't think you feel very safe at the moment.
no.
And I mean, how safe do you feel at the moment where you are?
And see, that's why it's so important for Joe Biden to come out and try to say something to help us feel a little safer or better around what is going on. Because normally, when something like this happens, it's just a state of confusion. And then, so it's good for him to come out and say it's not tolerated and we're going to investigate and we're going to do what we're supposed to do to make sure that the former president is taken care of. And this is not a political fight. We're not fighting against each other when it comes to someone trying to take someone's life out. I don't think I'm very disappointed in those that are saying that it is Joe Biden's fault that this happened, or it's the Democrats' fault that it's happened, or it's someone's fault because they said something or the rhetoric that's going on or whatever. You could say that same thing about the other side of the base, because you got people with guns on both ends that are not well on both sides of the spectrum, and it could happen to any one of the presidents. It could happen to Joe Biden. And so I think to bring it down and not scare us so much, stop the fighting between the two parties so it won't feel like we're in some type of war with each other.
I
But
mean, there
we
is talk
are
here.
kind of, because
Well,
of the election.
yeah, this is. I mean, it's such a heated, volatile time to be in, I think, over there. And
It
I
is.
here they're talking on the radio like there's this they're talking about civil war, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
America's not going to do that. That's everybody likes to kind of once they want to
Hyping it
jump
up.
on, yeah, and that's dangerous in itself,
Yes.
um, and I do like that Biden is, not condoning this behaviour, even though he's up against Trump. He is trying to calm the situation down. And everybody has to be on the same page when it comes to this sort of tolerance of
Yes.
gun crime. But in the same breath, Trump is the one that wants to debunk and take away all the undo everything that Biden's done when it comes to
Everything.
yeah, and go back to its original state with the
Yes.
gun laws. After this attempted assassination, surely he is going to rethink his stance on gun law. You would have thought that
You
maybe,
would think.
yeah, but has this spurred him on to continue this path of going back to the, the flat gun
Yeah.
law that you had before?
Yeah, Victoria, immediately, especially something like this, you would think that it would gear people up to be like, let's get more gun laws. But let me tell you something, as soon as you start saying gun laws in Texas or
They
anywhere,
don't like it.
people, oh, they get so upset with you, like you're the enemy, like you're against guns and you're against this. It's not that you're against guns, you're just against some type of weapons that shouldn't be on the street, like for military, and these babies carrying around guns, because they're a
Yeah.
certain age and their parents allow them to have one. It's scary. It really is.
This is the thing. Right to bear arms, and I think because when you're taking, it's very difficult to undo what you know. Like it does feel like you're taking away somebody's um liberties, their freedom, because that's all America knows. That's you've
Right.
encompassed that from the beginning. So it would feel for a lot of people who feel like that they have the right to bear arms, that they're taking away their power, and I understand that to an extent, but I just think that personally, and I know I don't live in America, so maybe I'm not the right person to comment,
Yes,
but
you can.
well, some people might not agree with you, so I'm going to be a bit careful.
No,
But
you're good.
I just feel like there should be kind of more steps to take to be able to own that gun, and more regulation with it. And I think that's fair enough because, like
Sure.
you say, yes, we all want to feel safe, but then sometimes a person that, it's like here in England, very similar. uh, Boys say that they want to have a knife on them to protect themselves, but then it's everybody's having a knife on them. Someone's going to get killed. So you
Yeah.
either all don't have a knife on you, or you all do, and it's madness because you have boys here killing each other over phones,
Yeah.
£50. It's things that, is a life worth that?
That. At the
You
end of
you
the
know.
day, when you're in that jail cell looking at those walls and wondering why you started fighting with killing someone over a phone, you're like, wow, my life is over.
Yeah, I know, and the life is so precious, and and the way people are thinking now, this new generation of kids, it's like nothing. It doesn't matter. Another
Right.
person's life isn't considered at all, and that's
Value.
scary.
It's very scary.
And wouldn't you regret that forever if you killed someone? As
God.
you
Like it
can't
would be
fathom
you
what it.
for the rest of your life. Like
Yeah.
your life really ends when you kill someone else's, take someone else's. Because that's all you think about 24 hours a day, Victoria. In the morning, when you get up, when you whatever, somebody that is sane and like, wow, I really took someone's life to really think about, uh-oh, I did do this. But like you said, some people, it's when you don't care, that's when it gets scary. When you like if you have a car accident, oopsie daisy, and someone dies in that accident. That it was an accident, it was avoided, you couldn't avoid it, but it's still, if someone dies in that accident, you still feel a certain kind of way. You should.
You think people would have empathy, they would have regret, remorse. It feels as if we're in a more of a colder world, cutthroat world. Um, in the society of or the community that we had is breaking down, massively. Especially, I mean, where I live, yeah, we have a small community within in the neighborhood, but it's not how it used to be. It's not the same back on my grandparents' generation where they kind of chipped in together and helped each other. It's everybody's out for themselves,
Right.
and it feels like you're very much alone. Judy Holiday said it was just announced the other person was shot, has passed away. Okay, I didn't know that, so we're going to have a look at
I
that in
didn't
a
either.
second.
Thank you for letting us
Thanks,
know
yeah,
that,
thank you for
Judy.
letting us know. So Quiet Girl has posted. I guess only comments that agree are posted. No, not at all. But I just missed whatever you said, so you can post it back up, and I'll put it up, and we'll discuss it. That's fine. So Charles and Camilla, they had a a scare today, and this is what kind of is crazy, because we've had this attempted assassination. They've had a security breach. Now, I feel like there is this craze now where
Yes.
is anybody safe that's in the public eye? Because it does feel like this is very coincidental. It's just happened pretty
Yeah.
much after what happened with Trump. I mean, did you read about this today? Do you
No.
know about it?
I would love for you to. Yes.
I'm
No.
going to read it out to you because it would make more sense me reading it, I think.
Wow.
So
Pretty
it's just,
shocking.
it is shocking. And nothing actually happens,
Well,
but
that's
there
good.
hasn't been anything like this in a long time. This has been, it's a while coming.
Wow.
So security threat. So King Charles and Queen Camilla rushed into safety of a hotel.
Oh, wow.
This is always happens to me. Do you know what? I'm going to need to get a much better phone.
Oh, I need a mic.
Oh, it's awful, this phone. Right. Okay. So the King and Queen are on the first day of their official visit to Jersey when they were ushered into the hotel for their own safety. King Charles and Queen Camilla were rushed to safety after security risk was detected during engagement in Jersey. The King and Queen were on Weybridge Place in St Helier touring the Jersey Expo when the security alert was detected. They had been enjoying touring each of the stands and were about to sample some of Jersey's ice cream before their security team advised them that they had to cut their visit short.
Uh-oh.
They were ushered towards the Pomme d'Or Hotel, where they were scheduled to attend a tea party later that afternoon, but the King stopped to shake some hands en route before his security ushered him along. After a short while, they exited the hotel and resumed their schedule and course of engagements. But the Buckingham Palace have refused to comment what actually happened and why they felt they were at risk. And but they just remain saying that there's every precaution was taken to keep them safe. So
Wow.
that's interesting, isn't it? What security
Yes.
breach was that? What intelligence did they have? Was it something very similar to what had happened with Trump?
Right.
Are they in the firing line for whatever reason? It's almost, and this guy that shot Trump, he was a Lone Ranger apparently, right? So
Yeah.
this guy he'd bought ammunition that day,
Wow.
and I think he bought 50 rounds of it. So
He was ready.
he was ready to go, wasn't he?
Yes.
And I mean, it'd be interesting. I think it'll come out more and more, the
Yes.
mindset of what happened,
Right.
and why he did what he did. Because, again, the media, unfortunately, everything is done for clicks. Everything
Yes.
is done for everything is enhanced and embellished a bit more to make it a bit more exciting. And so you really do become polarized with your opinions sometimes,
Yes.
because the wording of things can really sway somebody's opinion, and somebody that's young-minded and impressionable as well and vulnerable can go down a rabbit hole with this type of thing. Do you think that might have been the case? Do you think it was a Lone Ranger, or do you think it was a part of a bigger network?
I wonder because if it is, then it's really scary. Like there's this group of people that want to kill him. That would be really scary. They would have to up his security for sure. But I think that generally, I think that there's more people out there like him on both sides, ready to kill both presidents. I really do. But I
Mm.
don't think that this gentleman had a group. I think he did this on his sound like he did this on his own. But there's got to be some background more about why he woke up that morning and said, okay, this is it. I'm going after the former president. Like he didn't um what was on his mindset? Like what does his social media say? What does his friends say? Like why would this registered Republican decide that he wants to kill someone?
Well, it says here the 20-year-old man who tried to assassinate former President Donald Trump first came to law enforcement's attention at Saturday night's rally, when spectators noticed him acting strangely outside the campaign event. The tip sparked a frantic search, but officers were unable to find him before he managed to get on a roof where he opened fire. In the wake of the shooting that killed one spectator, investigators were hunting for any clues about what may have drove Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, to carry out the shocking attack. The FBI said they were investigating it as a potential act of domestic terrorism, but the
Ooh.
absence of clear ideology motive by the man shot dead but by the Secret Service have led to conspiracy theories. Now, of course, there's going to be so many different theories out there now. And the same happened with JFK. I mean, we've got many Netflix programs and
Yes.
podcasts made about what potentially
What
could have
really
happened.
happened?
Um, and there is this underlying feeling, there is a lot of people that really don't want Trump in power,
Right.
because he is such a controversial character, and he has rubbed a few people up the wrong way. For some people, they consider him a criminal now after his when he went, well, obviously he is a criminal.
Indicted to put 34 indictments. Yes.
So it's a very charged conversation.
It is.
I don't really know how I feel about either of them. I think there's pros and cons to both. I don't really
Yes.
want to lean either way.
Yes.
But right now, how I feel right now is, can they both just not disappear and we just get somebody new? And then
That
it
would be
feels a
great.
lot safer.
Someone young, just someone new. No, no, no party affiliation. Just, ooh, here's somebody new.
Yeah, it's like just some hippie
Yeah,
dude
because
coming
it
in.
is really like I talked
Yeah.
to my mom yesterday, and she was saying that yes, what's going to happen next, Letitia, Tisha, is that they're going to start blaming Joe Biden for this killing. I said there are going to be a group of people that do that. I said, but I said, think about that. I said, why would he do that? Like even if, like say for instance he did, I would be shocked. I would be disappointed. I would be like, oh my God, you really did something, like you really went after the former president like you did. So I doubt it very seriously that that is the case, or he pumped it up to happen either.
I mean, that is a wild accusation, isn't it?
Isn't
I
it?
mean, and that in itself is a very dangerous thing to do, and I just can't see it.
It is.
We're not living in you're not living in a dictatorship.
Right.
It's a different world in Russia. It's a different world in China. It's a different world in Korea. So I don't believe for a second that's the case, and that would be. I mean, well, I wouldn't like to believe that. I wouldn't
Right.
like to believe that. I would like to think that this is just someone that's come out of nowhere and done this. But the
Exactly.
issue we have is we should be looking more at at people's behavior and movements when it comes to things like gun control,
Yes.
and how and what they're certain things should trigger warnings. For example, if
Yes.
you're googling how to assassinate people, maybe that
Right.
should be flagged up somewhere. Or
Exactly.
or if you're involved in extreme content, then again that
Exactly.
should be flagged up somewhere, because this always is a lead up to something. Normally, it'll be years and years of an obsessed compulsive behavior that will end up getting somebody hurt.
Hurt. Yeah.
um and it seems that this guy might have been just like that. By what I've been reading, he could possibly have been something on that lines, very obsessed individual. And that was his goal in life, could have
Right.
been potentially to do that.
Just
Some
to do
people,
it,
but
to be
yeah.
named, oh, I'm going down in history as a man that killed a former president or a president. Like, what was his main objective? Like, obviously to kill him, but he it I just it's shocking. Anytime you hear it, it's just shocking. Even about Elizabeth, I'm not Elizabeth, but Prince Charles and Camilla, they're scared. I mean, you just don't know what's behind the scenes or what they're being shielded from. And it's so good that they have that security to say, you know what, trip canceled. It's over. We're going,
Well, I
your
think they
safety
just carried
first.
on with it. So they
Oh,
just got
they
back
did.
out there and carried on. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. King Charles, he really doesn't like to put a stop to anything. If he wants
oh,
to do something, he'll do it. And I think he's just got this stoic kind of stiff upper lip. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. This is, he'll commit to his schedule. He won't flake out of it.
oh,
And even something like that won't probably deter him, which is great considering, he is still unwell. Let's not forget, and
yes.
he's an older king now. But he also has sent a message to Trump, which I find this is quite interesting. So,
Oh,
King Charles sends Donald Trump private messages after horror assassination attempt. King Charles has reached out to Donald Trump after his assassination attempt has been revealed. King Charles has written privately to Donald Trump after the former US president survived an assassination attempt. Buckingham Palace has said. The king is said to have privately messaged the former president yesterday, and his message has been delivered via the US Embassy. The content of such correspondence will remain private, but it's safe to summarise the sentiments are in the keeping with those of communication by Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. During the PM's conversation with Trump, Starmer is said to have condemned the violence, expressed his condolences for the victims and their families, and wished the former president and those injured a quick recovery. On Saturday, the former US president was left bleeding from his ear after gunshots rang out at his rally in Pennsylvania, with the Secret Service quickly rushing him off stage. The tragic event occurred just days before Mr. Trump was due to accept the Republican presidential nomination. And it goes on and what we've covered already. But that is quite interesting, that he sent a message to Trump.
it is.
And I think there's that he feels, maybe Keir Starmer feels, and our institution here thinks it's very likely Trump is going to be in power, and this is why they are setting up the scene now, writing to him,
He could be.
stroking his ego,
Hmm.
being friendly, because they feel that the political scene is moving in that direction. I mean, what do
You
you
think
think?
so? I think that they were really concerned about him. I mean, I can't help but to think that Obama and King Charles and Joe Biden wasn't seriously worried and concerned about the former president, because no matter how you dislike someone, wanting someone killed or even thinking that you want someone killed, I think it's a bit, I think it's just That's evil. So I just think that they genuinely,
They just genuinely want to send their condolences, and I agree with that. Nobody, however much you hate somebody, should be shot. You know,
yeah, like I don't want Megan. I don't
no,
hate Megan, and
no, but you don't want to shoot her, do you?
I don't want to shoot her. No,
No,
I don't want her to, die or nothing crazy like that. Like that is just pushing the boundaries way too far. And
no,
I don't hate her. There's no hate
no,
there.
no, no, and this is the thing. It's, I mean, if you look at the pictures with Trump, it's quite eerie, isn't it?
Yes,
It's scary, and he
they
looks
were
scared.
scared.
He looks petrified, and I mean, it's
Little bit.
a complete shock, isn't it? And
Yes,
you are putting a lot of risk to yourself when you're standing
there and all.
there in front of a crowd. You don't know who's there. Your Secret Service, they can protect you, but it doesn't mean that they can get there right in time every
Yeah, it looked like
time.
they were far away. Like they don't. It wasn't that far, but I just felt like that this gentleman shouldn't have been able to do what he did. I just feel like they should have had snipers up on the rooftops of everywhere and security everywhere. It wasn't, and I don't want to talk about their security in a negative way, but I just believe that they should have been protecting him a lot better. Them not knowing someone's on a roof is,
I like how you say roof, and Nikki Steads has taken the mick out of how I said eerie. I don't know. Is that wrong? Have I not pronounced it properly? That's how I say eerie or eerie, eerie. And you say roof. As I say roof again. Say roof for me. Roof. How do you say
roof,
roof?
roof,
Roof. You say
rough.
roof.
I say rough.
Roof. I love that. Roof. I say roof.
Roof, 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 roof.
Roof. Roof. Roof. Roof. I love it. You guys say routes instead of roots, don't you, as
Route,
well?
roots,
And vitamins.
vitamins. What do you say?
Yep. Vitamins.
Vitamins. Oh,
Vitamins.
it's so cute.
I know. We could go on forever about this because you say loads of different things. Because the kids, they watch a lot of like American TikTok things, so they've
Yes.
started saying things like chips instead of
If,
crisps. I'm like, what are you
what do you call them?
saying to me? What is going on?
How cute.
I know. I love mixing our lingo up. It's great. And I really want to say y'all because I love it. I think it
Oh,
sounds great, but I just don't think I'm allowed to say it because I'm not American. I love it saying y'all. I love it. It sounds brilliant. But I do want to take a minute just to obviously send and send our condolences to the family that actually somebody did get killed
yes.
instead of Trump. It was the firefighter Corey it's Comparatiro, is that correct, who
Oh,
died a hero. I think he was saving his, so during the attempted assassination, did he jump in front of his wife? I'm not entirely sure. As a family man who served his community, he was quick to help his friends in need.
oh,
So Corey was one of the thousands of people who attended the rally in Pennsylvania. And he died trying to protect his family. So yeah, he did. According to the governor, Pennsylvania State Police confirmed his identity on Sunday. And it's really sad. I know we're all
very
talking
sad.
about Trump and the attempted assassination, but there's not been a lot of media coverage on Corey. And I
Yeah.
like to say, he hasn't died in, well, he needs to be remembered as
Yes,
well. He was a citizen who saved people's lives, and unfortunately, for doing all that, look what happened. It's
I
very
know.
sad. It's a good person has died out of this, and we have to
Yes.
remember that.
Just
Um,
at a function that you wouldn't think that you would be, in any danger, especially with all the security around. You just think you're
yeah,
safe, and they were not safe.
and
And then
this is another thing. You think your children are safe at school,
yes,
and and to hear the amount of mass shootings in America, that you hear the shootings in the schools, and you just think it's the worst thing to you as a
it is.
parent to hear that your child has been it's shot dead at school, it makes me choke up now
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about it, because it's meant to be one of the safest places for your children.
That's it.
And it's scary. You
It's
know, you
very
shouldn't
scary.
be scared to send your children to school, or go to a rally. Judy Holiday said, "We just lost another victim, Victoria." Oh my goodness me.
So is it two of them?
It's two.
Judy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Because I
mean,
know
it's,
that was a lady. There was a lady that got hurt. There was someone that died, and I think you're talking about him right now. Corey was his name.
yeah, Corey, yeah. Yeah.
Corey.
Yeah. So
And
he
then
was trying to save his
someone else.
family from the, so he did save his family, God bless him. He did. But
Okay.
you know, this is what happens. You know, you can't just go run around. The ripple effects
You
it
have to
causes
watch your
to
surroundings. You got to always be on alert because you just don't know, and you think you're safe. At like literally, it's a family function. I'm sure there was kids there, and you know, and it's just despicable that people would shoot in a
yes.
crowded space. Like you were aiming at Trump, but you killed two other people. You know,
This is where they do, and this is how I believe, as much as we want to, as much as America want to keep the gun laws, and I appreciate that,
right?
I do feel like there just needs to be it's even a psychological assessment, a psychiatric assessment before you get a license is one step further. Is that something that they do at the moment? They don't do that yet, do they? Or
They
do?
it's like it's not the gun laws are not that restrictive. Like
Mm,
you can like I can go right now and get a gun if I wanted to.
yeah.
They'll do like a quick check on me and be like, okay, you're good to go. Here's a gun. But you could be not even an offender. You could be a person that has mental health and they don't even know it. It's not in your records. You just
Oh,
walk in and say, I want a gun.
so you could just pretend that you haven't got any mental health problems, that
Oh
they
yeah.
won't check. They won't check. Yeah. And the thing is,
Most of them
oh,
check,
okay.
but even if they're checking, it may not be listed. It may not
Okay.
show that they're having mental issues.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and I know you can buy them illegally anyway. It's not just about buying them. I
Oh,
think
all
there are
day
more.
long.
Yeah, so if you want to pick a gun up and you can't get one legally, you can still get one illegally. It's very
Mhm,
easy to get one illegally, isn't it?
mhm,
That's
and
another
the time that
problem.
you want to pick and choose.
So,
Mhm.
it's Quiet Girl says we have tons of regulations surrounding Pew Pew where I live. Where do you live, Quiet Girl? Right down where you are. I just don't know much about the gun laws in America, but I do know that
I don't
they're
think they're
very
strict.
opposite. No.
Yes, I think if you can carry guns around, just go into grocery stores where kids and people are, it's scary. Like I went into a pharmaceutical store once. I was coming out, and this gentleman was going in, and you could see his gun in his holster, and I was just like, "Why is he carrying a gun in this store?" Because it's gonna
Mm.
freak people out. It freaked me out.
So it's not something you feel like you're used to in Texas, even though you see it. Do you still get anxiety when you see someone with a gun? And is
Oh
that
yeah.
because you've seen a lot of? Is there a lot of shootouts, or is there because they talk about drive-bys in like the ghetto areas? Is that still something that's quite prolific to this day? Is that something that's
Yes. It,
ongoing?
yeah, you can like in the more rural areas where there's more crime and stuff, it's you can see it more. Like you'll hear about it on the
Mm,
news the next morning.
mm,
A shootout happened, South Dallas or happened
yeah.
over here or whatever. But like if it happened over here by me, I would be shocked.
So it's yeah, so it depends on what state you're in. So yeah, I think it does differ in each state. And I
But
think the southern states are a bit more relaxed, is that right? And then you go a bit further up north and it starts to get a bit more is I mean that's just a generalization. Is that correct?
yeah, it just depends. Like I would have to say more of I say more of the red states,
Mm,
Republican
mm,
states. They
okay.
like their guns,
Yeah,
and they carry them more. They carry them a
yeah.
lot more. I would have to say.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm gonna go do a deep dive into that. But I know people are very passionate about the gun law, and I don't want to offend anybody. But I think after what we see time and time again of you know tragic losses where it's not necessary. There's got to be a way around it where everybody's happy, where it's where the
Yes,
gun law suits everybody.
but
That's
it
that's
suits
all that I think
everyone.
the American people want as far, and I mean
Exactly.
that's what I'd like to see,
Balance
where
it.
it suits everybody and everybody feels that they've got their power, but there's still that safety there, and that's
Right.
something that the new government are going to have to work on, I think.
And I
In
like that.
we've had quite a heavy conversation,
It was. It was really good.
but
Oh,
we should we
goodness.
just talk quietly and nicely about the the EPSI Awards? Did you
You
watch
know
it?
what?
Did you
Wasn't
have a
that
look?
a mess? Oh my God. Let's walk into that.
Go on then, hit me with what you saw because I
Well,
didn't
okay.
catch it, but I saw clips of it online.
So when he was in, first of all, Serena and her joke was what it was. I mean, I think Megan gave her the note to say it, to say something about this is my night, Megan. You're not going to take this limelight away from me tonight. In other words, people say that. Well, that's what she does. I thought it was interesting that they were in the front row, and not, I just thought that was weird too. And then when he got up, she was holding on to his hand pretty tight to the point where he had to like shake it off, like, okay, I gotta go get the award. But then he had those other three people in the back of him that he told not to move. He said, don't move, stay up here with me. But
Yes,
it was
yes.
rude, don't you think?
Well, it just shows the contrast in the type of people that get awarded, and then him, and I think it really, I think it is unbelievable actually because I think there was one guy there, and I'm just going to find his name. Um, so oh, 2 seconds. So we'll go on to that in a second because I can't find it. But he he was a burn victim. Is that right?
He looked like he was.
Yeah,
Yes, I can see that.
yeah. And it was also there was a shot to the mum, to Mary Tillman,
Yeah.
and she didn't look very impressed, did she?
Well, I
Um,
think that was the ex-wife, I think, because the mom didn't even show up. Mary Tillman didn't even show up.
oh, did she not? Because I'm sure there was a shot to her in the audience, or was that the wife?
I want to say that's the wife. But I'm not
It
100%
must have been
sure.
the wife. He asked the veterans to stand with Harry to avoid booze. And that's a very good tactic there, actually,
Yeah,
to keep him up. But he did again mention, the bond between a mother and son. That was part of his speech, acceptance speech, which was interesting because he's trying to relate to the mum and son as well, to Pat
exactly.
Tillman, and he's trying to show that they have a connection and the similarities
They
between it.
don't.
It's a very different relationship,
Right.
um, and I think this is another way to arouse the American their memory of Diana, and having the lost her and the boys, because everybody loved Diana. A lot of people loved Diana in America, so trying to win that crowd and win the acceptance of the crowd, to talk about him and his, what he went through again, to kind of evoke that emotional tie, which was very clever of him to do that. But it's not the same situation, and I again don't think he looks at things on a deeper level. I mean, what do you make of that?
I agree with you. I thought that him bringing up his mom was just a way for more sympathy for him. I said, oh, here we go, opening up the sympathy box, because he brought up, it's not the same. The relationships is not the same. You lost your mother in a car accident. She lost her son, as a hero, as a veteran, as someone that gave up his life for, so Harry just wants to feel important. He wants to feel like he is more than what he's not. And I didn't like the speech. I thought the speech was self-serving.
Yes, yes. So yes, so Mary didn't attend. I do apologise. So yeah, during his acceptance speech, Prince Harry addressed Mary Till. He did address her,
So she
but she
did
wasn't
attend.
No, he
Okay.
spoke about her. He addressed her because
Yeah.
he drew parallels,
Which
didn't
I thought
he?
was rude.
Yeah. So the bond between a mother and son is eternal and transcends even the greatest losses. Um, yeah, he likes to bring that up with a lot of the conversations that he has. I do think he is stuck in a trauma there.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
do
you do?
think, just analysing it, it's like there's something there with the grief, and he's not come to terms with it. He's not dealt with it in the right way yet.
I I see
What do
him
you
using
think?
it. I think he uses it as a crutch. I really do. I think that it's one of those. I really feel like Harry uses it for us to feel a certain kind of way towards him. Like he uses it as, woe is me, like this happened to me, and so I know exactly what Mary is going through. You were a child when your mom passed away, and I just think that he uses this as an scapegoat. I really do, and I think Meghan helps him write it.
Well, you can't get booed on stage if you're talking about
Your mom.
the oh, what's that? Victoria's statement was plagiarism once again.
Hmm.
What does that mean?
Well, some of his speech was
Mm.
used in other speeches that he had already spoken.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right. Interesting.
Hmm.
Wow.
One
Okay.
of Megan's
Yeah,
moves.
and I do think that he wants the victim, he wants the sorry saga, that's his, to get a lot of people think, to gain publicity and to gain
Yes.
people's acceptance, you have to be felt sorry for. And
Right.
actually that's kind of the weakest way to go about
It
getting
is.
people's attention and love, because that doesn't last for very long and it gets very
No,
boring. They did it very, it's a very similar
you're right.
thing when you look at like X Factor, for example. I know you get that out in America as well. So they do the sob stories in the beginning, and yeah, we all kind of, when we first started watching it, I think we were like, oh, her nan died, or the
Yeah.
dog died, and you're like, okay. But we all go through tough times in our lives, and we all
Yes.
actually just have to get on with it and try
Yeah.
try our best to support each other. But I think if you're living in the past continuously and you're feeling sorry for yourself continuously, you're not much fun to be around, and you're not that
No,
much fun to listen to, are you?
at all, because look at this. He's coming out with a documentary on his court cases. How boring is that? How boring, and how he's going to be whining to us and crying about how he lost his girlfriend when he was younger and how they're messing with his wife. That's it. That's all he's going to be doing is complaining and whining.
That is the feel of him at the minute. It's very negative, very draining. And the narrative they want to run with continuously is the woe is me narrative. It runs thin after a while, doesn't it? Um, but
I love how
yeah,
you put that.
since being on these, I've been on 3 courses of antibiotics, and I feel like I'm losing the power of speech, Lady Letitia. I
Oh,
have these word blocks, so I want to say something, and I just can't seem to get it out. I think I'm losing my mind
you're doing
slightly. So I'm
wonderful.
sorry about that. Honestly, I feel like I'm losing it completely.
You're
I'm
doing
just hoping this is the last set of antibiotics that I go on, because I'm dripping with, this is quite disgusting, guys, dripping with sweat here. Like, this is how it is, but it's not even hot here.
oh,
I know. I mean, don't feel sorry for me, guys. I'll be fine. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just
it's
letting you
okay
know.
though. You know what? It's okay to have sympathy sometimes. I know Megan does it so much, and Harry, you're just scared to even be like, well, I'm okay. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Kind of a situation.
Yeah,
No.
no, if I get people want to share their story, and I understand that, and we all know their story. So it's a great thing to talk about anything that's tragic that's gone on in your life, because
Oh
it
yes.
can be a positive thing to talk about it
Hmm.
and get other people's opinions. But I don't feel like he's talking about it for the right
No.
reasons. And actually, I think sometimes it's a private emotion, isn't it?
Right.
Um,
It is. It's an intimate, private emotion. When my father died, I didn't want to talk to a whole bunch of people. And even now, I don't want to have like this whole dialogue about it. But it's a private thing, like you said. You're right, Victoria. You're on point, girlfriend.
well, he does address it a hell of a lot, and he likes to compare himself to everybody else when it comes to his loss.
Yes. He's
But
the
it's all very individual and um, totally different for him, totally different for his mum. Um, yes, but we've all encountered losses, as even, I'm sure you've encountered losses.
yes.
I have. And yes, we work through it, and I think we work through
Mhm.
it within the family, don't we?
Yes.
But that is just me personally. I wouldn't want to be on the world stage trying to get
Right.
attention for things that we've gone through and hashed out quite a lot already.
Yes.
He's had this conversation, and he's had this platform before.
Yes.
Um, I'd like him to be in a happier space in his head.
Mhm.
Do you think he's maybe stuck in like this kind of rift where he can't quite
Yeah.
shake this off?
I think Megan reminds him every day that this is what happened to his mom, and he's a spare. And I just think that she brings out the ugly in him. I really do. I don't think that Harry thinks and has a mind of his own at the moment. I think that he follows her lead.
I mean, they did look pretty happy there. I mean, do you not think that they looked like they were?
It was fake to me. I don't
Yeah,
believe that
lots of
they're in
lots of
love.
smiles and
Yeah,
laughing and
like something was.
um.
I heard that they arrived separately
Oh,
and they
really?
left separately. I heard that word on the street. And word on the street is also too that they left in the middle of the right after he got his
Yes.
award.
Yes, yes. And they didn't stick around, they just went straight away. Very
Yeah,
unsociable, very introvert behavior. It makes you wonder why they're not sticking around, because they should use that opportunity
yeah,
to mingle and get contacts because they haven't got
Mhm.
that many at the moment.
Right.
Start networking a bit more. That was a
Mhm.
good opportunity for them actually to
Very much so.
really rub shoulders with a lot of different people, and they just decided to leave.
They decided to leave.
And
Less.
what do you feel about that? How do you think that reflects on them?
Well, unless they were reading the room and the room wasn't really excited to see them, or were, I heard that they got a few boos and maybe they didn't feel comfortable staying. That's the only reason why I would think. But even if you didn't feel comfortable staying, you still should have stayed because it was rude to leave in the middle of someone else's performance,
And
acceptance.
this is what they do though.
Yeah, like they're important.
They do. They genuinely think that they are above the cut of the rest. And with all the controversy surrounding him getting the award, why would you just leave? Why would you
Right.
not stick it out? Because you're looking like, you've come and grabbed your award and you've done one.
Mhm. Exactly.
And that's not respectful, because that is not the feel of the awards. And you should be there, you should be actually speaking to the veterans, speaking to the
Mhm.
families.
After.
Yeah, really, like, have some modesty and some kind of compassion there within
Yes.
you, to stay and listen to other people's stories, not just tell your own story. And I think that's really what he was only there for.
Very good.
That he was there just to give his own spout of who he was and
Mhm.
his background, and then just go,
Yeah. Me,
and
me, me, me,
leave.
me.
Yeah, and for me, if to win back the public, I would have stayed
Yes.
and listened to other people's stories and mingled with the normal folk,
Yeah.
and had some one-on-one time with people, and really made
Exactly.
people feel special in that environment that night. That's what would have been what I would have done. But maybe I don't know.
Right.
We don't know what they're up to. Um, this has been a great conversation, Lady
I have to
Letitia. I've really,
say,
really enjoyed it. Sorry if I haven't quite articulated myself very well this evening. I tried to be as politically correct as humanly possible,
oh,
but
you were
these
great.
antibiotics are sending me into la la land. I do apologise.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling
Oh, a
better.
bit better. I'll get there. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much for joining me. Guys, thank you in the chat. You've been amazing. Thank you for all being so kind to each other in the chat. I really appreciate that.
Oh, is Trevor
Also,
in the chat?
pardon?
You said Trevor?
Trevor? No,
What'd
just
you
being
say?
kind to each other in the chat.
Oh.
I don't know if Trevor might be in the chat. I don't know. Trevor could be in there. It could be on on the roof. How'd you say it?
The roof.
Roof. On the roof. On the roof. I love it.
It's so pretty. Say it one more time.
Ah, it's brilliant. I love you all in the chat. You've been amazing. Obviously, to my lovely mods, Lisa B and Casabera, I love you guys. And I'm really sorry I haven't had a chance to send out that prize yet, because last week I was dying. Didn't do
Oh,
any lives, so I will do it this week. You guys are amazing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, please share, just get the views up for us. Likes are really important because it actually pushes the algorithm. So, guys, if you don't mind liking, that would be amazing. And Lady Letitia's links will be in the description box. And I think that's it. Anything else I need to say?
no,
Or we're
you
live.
did
We're live on Wednesday. And Megan's
Oh,
mole was meant to join us tonight, but I don't think she's been able to get involved. So maybe she'll join on not on Wednesday, so on Thursday night at 9 o'clock. If you want to join Lady Letitia then as well, you can. It's my birthday on Wednesday. I'm 21 again. Imagine
that is
that.
so
Yeah, I
awesome.
made a deal with God that I'd be 21 every year, and he's like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm 21
It's been
again.
going good. That's good. Happy birthday, Victoria.
Thank you. I might do a little live on Wednesday. I'll see. I'm just gonna go out with the kids for
Okay.
some food, but
You have
we'll see.
plans?
Well, we might go out for dinner and cinema, but I might go bowling instead.
Ooh,
Just with
that's
the
gonna be
kids, something
fun.
nice, and a party on Friday. Small
Okay.
party.
Ooh.
Anyway, love you guys. Night, night. I'll see you soon. Bye,
Bye
my
bye.
jammers. Bye, 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 bye.